I'm talking hella reckless, I won't even stress. Just kill them softly with my press, won't even address. They say it's lonely at the top, but this the best shit ever. Hey, don't you see me out here shining, bitch, I'm barely flexing. I hear them talking hella reckless, I won't even stress. Just kill them softly with my press, won't even address. They say it's lonely at the top, but this the best shit ever. And even if we die today, this shit gon' live forever. Live forever.
Live forever.
Oh no! Man down. Oh, can you turn that so it's out of the... I got it. Bye. No, look at that bruise. I did cross. Oh my god. That is not good.
Did you see it?
Look at that.
I know. That's why I said it's getting worse since we were in the car.
Oh man, that's not good.
You gotta be real careful with that.
I do. My thick thighs save lives. You know what I'm saying?
They do with the strong hands. Just a little snack hand if you didn't know.
Welcome to Rainbows and Unicorns, the show where we talk about life not being all rainbows and unicorns. I am Jesi Stracham, like a straw you drink from, here you eat, your host, and today I'm joined by my beautiful best friend slash roommate slash director of Wheel With Me Foundation slash badass individual, Briana, Powie, Bam, Bowie, Wham, Wowie, Sam, Sowie, Cam, Cowie, and we're so glad to be here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yo, I'm super excited. So this is the second week into the relaunch of the podcast, and today we're talking about a topic coming as two individuals from a minority community of being the disabled community, and how once you see things, you just can't unsee them.
Absolutely.
So we're going to dive into a little bit of Brianna's story, just because it kind of gives a little preface of where she's come from and why we're talking about this today. But I met her on Instagram initially, and she came to Wheel With Me Foundation's Empowerment Weeks. If you don't know, if you're a wheelchair user, you know a wheelchair user. Our nonprofit has Empowerment Weeks every quarter, where members of our community teach their skill, their trade, and really give you tools and tangible action steps to be able to go out and accomplish whatever you want in life. And you can go to Wheel With Me Foundation's YouTube to watch the replays. We have everything from sex and disability to how to build a job resume. And so even if you're just, curious, 10 out of 10 recommend checking out our stuff. So she came to our first Empowerment Week, found fitness, and then about a few months into her fitness journey, she had hit a plateau, reached out to me for nutrition coaching. We got her the rest of the way, and then she finished college, and I was like, hey, let's live together. And she uprooted her whole life from Wisconsin to be here. So go ahead and just dive in a little bit as far as where you came from, a little quick overview, just so people kind of know how we got
Connected?
Well, just that, yeah, and then to this mindset that we're kind of talking about today.
I'm so excited. So, like Jesi said, I found the Wheel With Me Foundation in 2021. Right during COVID, we were all kind of looking for some kind of, support system. And I had been a wheelchair user for over 10 years already. I wasn't taking care of my body, wasn't doing any fitness. I had gained so much weight, and it had gotten to the point where I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror. And then I found Jesi in her empowerment nights, and there was, like she said, adaptive fitness, and I was like, okay, well, if I can watch this recording every other day for 2 weeks, then I can invest in an actual fitness program. And it just kind of kept growing from that and kept snowballing. So I added in the fitness, then I changed up my nutrition. I started working with Jesi. I started tracking my nutrition. And from there, I just got even closer with her. We were doing online workouts and everything. And from there, there's just more. You want more. And that's when she introduced the Power List to me. And I started reading my 10 pages a day. And as she said, I was in college. I was a senior in college. I now have more on my plate than I ever had at this point in time.
Just throw that. How many credits were you taking at this time? Because I think that's important for people to kind of know. Because you had told me earlier today that this was the biggest semester in college you had ever had, and you had more on your plate with the Power List, with these things. So, kind of break that down too. How many credits were you taking, and what were your habits?
So, the last 5 or 6 years, I was doing at least full-time, so at least 12 credits, if not more. But as most of you guys know, with your senior year comes a lot of internships. So I had my 12 credits, but I was also interning with a couple other local organizations. I did interning with a project called Project Proven, which helped individuals who were incarcerated get back on their feet once they got released. And then I also volunteered at the college food pantry, and I created an entire program to get a refrigerator. So that was a big step for us because we only had pantry goods. And so from there, I was able to create an entire program, get us a refrigerator. Now the students can get meat, cheese, milk, and things like that.
And so you're giving college students access to food.
I was giving college students
So
access
cool.
to food, and then I also gave people who had a record a chance at a better future. And those were the two big things for me. And so like she said, I had a full schedule. I worked part-time for the college. I started working part-time for her. I was doing more for myself. I was working out at least twice a day. I was reading my 10 pages. I was meal prepping every single week. And so I was stacking and stacking and stacking. And I was looking back my final month. My teacher was like, hey, your homework's really amazing. Have you ever thought about being a lawyer? I really think you should go on to law school. And I was like, thank you, good sir, for the compliment, but I'm done with school right now. I can't do any more. I'm ready to move on to the next phase of my life. And that's when I really thought about it. I'm like, wow. I have been in college for 8 years. This last year has been the heaviest load, the heaviest amount of personal tasks. And then on top of that, I'm planning to move across the country. I'm packing up all my stuff, shipping them to her house, and I had scheduled my one-way ticket.
Why did you ship and fly?
Because I wasn't coming back.
No, but why did you have to ship things rather than driving them?
Because I can't drive yet. At the time, this is a couple years back, I didn't even think that I was capable of saving up money to own a car. I hadn't saved up any money, honestly, at that point in time in my life. My savings account was at like $100 at the max, just to keep it open. And then I moved in with Jesi, and like the whole adventure just never stopped. It's been literally it's been go mode since June of 2022.
What's it like living with Jesi Stracham?
It's an adventure. It's a beautiful disaster. We make chaos look really good, honestly, and she's taught me that I'm a very emotional human. When I first moved in, I was very sensitive.
Crying.
I was very sensitive. And she didn't have a lot of patience. So we both grew. I grew with my emotions and controlling my stuff. She grew with having patience with me.
And showing emotions.
I'm
the emotional one.
She's
I
the
cry all the
emotional
time.
one. But we were discussing this stuff today, discussing where we've come from, where we've been. Both of us come from, I'm
gonna be real.
Poverty.
I didn't come from poverty. I came from middle class. Then my parents lost everything. Both my parents are truck drivers. My dad's a dispatcher, and so like, it's not that we had a lot, but my parents definitely lived outside their means, and they were rich on credit. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important to understand too, because you came from like straight poverty, mm-hmm. like old girl having her ramen and mm-hmm. PB&Js and like your bologna sandwiches.
Yep. I had my ramen. We did our eggs and chorizo because it's the cheapest thing you can do for breakfast and stuff like that. My mom lived paycheck to paycheck, and she passed those same habits on to us. Not because she was malicious, but it's all we knew. It's all my family has known forever. And so I've just been trying really hard with Jesi's guidance for the last couple of years to really figure out how can I get myself out of poverty so that I can show my family that they can get themselves out of poverty. And that led to the conversation that we were having the last couple of days, is that once you see what you're capable of, you can't unsee it. So the last year of my life has been a chaotic, from personal to business changing to life changing, right? And I was kind of beating myself up because I was not functioning at the level that I was last summer. Last summer we did 75 hard, we crushed it, we were on the road, and like I kept looking back and I'm just like, man, I'm being hard on myself because I know that our best isn't always going to be the same.
But also the fact that we have to look at what's on our plates, because I've been beating myself up as well since I bought the business. Mm-hmm. I bought into a business that I just had no business adding something else to my plate. I already have so much on my plate, and I was like, yeah, let's buy an actual brick and mortar store and actually run a business. And it's been chaos since, and you started traveling for work this year. And so we were really talking about having intent, and the intent in your day to be able to actually get things done. And for me, if I don't calendar block, my day is chaos and I'm not hitting anything I need to hit at all. Calendar blocking is straight up the biggest tool I have to allowing me to be able to do all the things I have. Like, I have my hands in Freedom Lake Norman. I have it in Freedom Longevity and Wellness, my personal coaching brand. I have it in Wheel With Me Adapt Fit, the coaching brand I have with Nikki Walsh. I have it in Wheel With Me Foundation, which thank God she's in place with. And then I just have my personal brand, Jesi Stracham. So you're looking at 5 different functioning businesses that I have to give attention to all the time.
Plus you work for WellSpec.
Plus I work for WellSpec. I always forget about that, but
And then, just because her plate's not full enough, she has so many different ambassadorships and sponsorships and videos that she has to make for different brands that randomly pop up all year long. They'll just randomly be like, hey, we need another video about this or that, and she does it all.
Right.
All by herself most of the time.
And that's the thing, like, it all comes down to intent and your habits and what your habits look like as far as what kind of intent do you have behind what you're executing on. What kind of, mindset do you have on what you're executing on? And what are you really doing to get to where you want to be? Because if you're not putting the actionable task forward with the correct intent, like there's a difference between executing and executing with intent. And if you don't have the proper intent as far as why you're doing it behind the execution, then it's not going to go the way that you want it to go.
Front left door.
Sorry, we're at the facility and people are just in and out. It's honestly about to get crazy chaos. But
I think the last thing that I want to share about my journey, thank you for letting me share about
dude,
it.
I've wanted you to do this for so long because, like, the thing you guys have to know about Brianna, when she moved in, the biggest thing she said to me on a regular basis was, I can't. And I'm like, that's not even an option anymore. Like, you live with me. You have to, which is probably a little, in the beginning, it was really intimidating. Like, I remember the first thing Bri said to me is, I can't keep up with you. And I said, well, stop trying to be me. Like, be Brianna. And that's the biggest thing is we get lost in trying to be other people that we forget to just show up as who we are.
The best that we can, right?
Right.
And her and I have had a lot of conversations about that. She can run off of 5-6 hours of sleep and function really well during the day. I'm not like that. My body's different, and that is okay. And it took a couple years for me, not her, for me to be like, I can't keep up with you. I'm going to bed now. I'll see you in the morning. And I was always so fearful of her judging me and being like, oh, you can't keep up with me. You're not good enough. But she never did that, right? And so once I accepted me, it was never an issue. And that like brings you back into like, once you see what you're capable of, you can't unsee it, right? Like once I had that really amazing senior year in college or that really great summer last year where we just full sent it, it's really hard to try to operate at anything but that. Even if you're recovering from surgery, I know that was a big struggle for you last year. Like she wanted to just go from surgery back to life, right? And I
tried.
And you tried.
I tried.
I've had a death in the family. I've had a lot of big changes. I've had a lot of emotional stuff go on, and that's going to impact me, and that's okay. So like my best right now is different from my best last year, and that's okay. I just have to stay up with those daily habits, right? So like we need to make sure that we're doing those 10 pages. We need to make sure that we're doing our movement, drinking the water, eating the good food, doing the things that got me through that senior year, doing the things that got us through that summer. Because when you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's hard. I think we struggle with that not only with ourselves but with everyone around us, right? Like
I think the one last thing that I really want to hit on, Bri's superpower is that she didn't get involved in the disabled community until she found out about Wheel With Me Foundation. Whereas I got involved very early on. And the big pattern that we both really see and we talk about on a regular basis is how much the disabled community just victimizes themselves. But humans as a whole, how often are we so quick to say, I can't, because of the perception that we have in our mind, and we won't even allow ourselves to try something. The amount of times I was like, no, we're doing it. Like, Bri didn't know how to wheelie, and I was like, yeah, we're going hiking in the mountains, and you're going to figure it out. And she yeeted herself out of her chair and got right back in, and we continued.
We figured it out.
We went on a 3-hour hike, a non-disabled hike, down a mountain and back up by ourselves and sorted it out. And I think that that's really impactful for people to understand that you limit yourself more than you're actually limited. You are the reason that you're not accomplishing anything you want to accomplish. Just like I'm the reason I'm not where I want to be. You're the reason that you are where you're currently at. Yep. And that's good or bad. You have to reflect on the habits that you've executed up until this point to understand why you're in the situation that you're in. And until you're willing to look at it through an honest lens and say, you know what, I'm the problem. And also understand I'm the solution.
Yep.
Because the only person that can solve your problems is you. So unless you're willing to take the actionable steps to actually solve the issue, nothing's going to change. And you can go on the internet and bitch all day long, but that's not going to change anything. And honestly, I've started to slowly disassociate with the disabled community because y'all victimize yourselves so much that I don't want anything to do with it. I'm over it. Like, the world's not out to get you. The world's not going to be fully accessible. You've got to figure it out. You've got to sort it out. And by playing victim or martyr is not going to actually allow those things to change. Unpopular opinion, but stop victimizing yourself. The world's not out to get you. People are just often ignorant. They don't know what they don't know. Acquiring my disability is what taught me that. I didn't know shit about being paralyzed before I was injured. You didn't know shit about the community before you even became involved in it.
10 years, yeah. And I'm going to take it a step further. It's not even just the disability community victimizing themselves, but I mean, we could do this thing all day long, able-bodied or not. Like, I used to play the victim card because I was poor, because my mom and dad were addicts, right? Or because we had to struggle for this, that, or the other thing. But my whole life, I had to take care of myself. I had to, like, I had no choice. And I think that was the big saving grace for me, is that I didn't get involved with the community right away. And then I knew this world is not set up for me, whether I'm in a wheelchair, whether I have money, this, that, or the other thing, and I still have to figure it out, and I still have to have a good time. And my biggest example is music festivals, right? So 2 months out of the hospital, I was back at music festivals in my wheelchair, figuring it out. I didn't care about if the bathroom was accessible. I didn't care about the rocks. I didn't care about that. I just cared about making it work for me.
And having a good time.
And having a good time about it. And I think having those 10 years of me just like, all right, I'm going to avoid that hill because I'm probably going to fall out, but I'm still going to be on site, and I'm still going to show up, but I'm still going to be there. I'm still going to go everywhere that I feel safe to do, and I'm just going to make it work for me. Because the world's not designed for people in wheelchairs. The world's not designed for people in poverty. The world is not designed for a lot of different things. And we always have to make it work regardless of what your situation is. And that, I think that's been our biggest struggle the last couple of months, is that people of all shapes and sizes, of all abilities, of all walks of life, they give up too quickly. And it's like, let's show up. We need to show up for us. We need to be the change we want to see. If you don't want kids to be jerks, show kids how to not be jerks.
You have the choice. You could be the victim or the victor of your life, and you decide how your story ends. Not everybody has a level playing field, and that's okay. When I was 16, my parents filed bankruptcy. They uprooted my whole life. I moved out of my childhood home to North Carolina. They started over with nothing. I went from getting anything and everything I wanted to not being able to afford anything. So it taught me real quick, you're not always going to stay on top. And it's not always going to go your way. And like, yeah, life isn't fair. Life just isn't fair. And the sooner you realize that life isn't fair and you do the things to figure it out and actually just go be happy. Like, you have a choice. It's so funny. Tony says, my business partner here at Freedom, he says all the time, I think it's like 90 seconds for your brain to process emotion, and then anything after that is a choice. So whether you're happy, sad, excited, frustrated, angry, whatever it is, your brain only processes that for 90 seconds, and then everything after that is a choice. So you have a choice to either let people's opinions and let the way people treat you dictate the way you are and how happy you are, or you can make the choice to just say, screw it, and be happy no matter what. And that's what I did. I was like, the disability doesn't take anything from me. I do more in this chair than most people do walking. Like, that chair is my tool to get from point A to point B. Without that chair, I would be bedbound. I would be couchbound. I would not be able to get from point A to point B. That thing is a tool that allows me to live life to the fullest, that changed my perspective of the world in a positive light. I was a piece of shit before I was injured.
How has your wheelchair made you a better person?
100%. 100%. Today, great example. My mom and I got into a little bit of a tissy, and she pissed me off. And then we went to Starbucks, and this woman in a Jeep cut me off. And usually when people cut me off, I blow them a kiss or I like roll down the window to ask them what's wrong. And I told Bria, I was like, I just want to mollywop this woman. I want to mollywop her. And I didn't. I did flip her off. But then I bought her coffee because I was like, I don't want to put this kind of energy out into the world.
And this is a conversation that Jesi and I have had multiple times over our friendship. Our wheelchairs made us better. Our wheelchairs made us better. We were not good people before. Getting paralyzed changed our lives, gave us a new perspective, took that eye mask off, and showed us that it doesn't matter what our life is, that we can make the best of it either way.
100%. So with that being said, if you gained some value today, if you feel like this can help someone, impact them in a positive light, please share it with a friend. Please directly drop the link, leave a comment, all the things. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Will you turn your mic off? Oh man, listen to it.